So what's your musical background? 'Cause
My musical background, when I started out, I fooled around on the piano and sort of, learned playing by ear, but I took baritone horn, euphonium, so I played in bands since about fourth grade. In high school, that turned into a marching band, of course, but I played in the concert band all year round. In high school, I took organ lessons. This is what they used to call console organs, so your feet had to work and both your hands, because you had two keyboards and plus the pedals. So I had organ lessons. And then in college, I quit bands because I figured I either had to make films or be in bands, and marching band in particular takes up a whole lot of time, and there's some kind of unsavory elements in marching bands, kind of paramilitary kind of aspects. Just in terms of some of the personalities, part of what they enjoy about it can be the sort of shouting at people aspects. I was a squad leader, so I had my chance to shout at people if I wanted to when I became one. But anyway, I figured I had to do one or the other. I didn't have time to do both. And then it turned out that once you start making movies and you want to show them someplace, you can't just use your favorite Jerry Goldsmith and John Williams albums because you don't own that. So I knew music already, and music was kind of a path into film for me, largely through Jerry Goldsmith, actually. Because I saw Patton on a re-release, and then I'd already seen Papillon, which then played on television, and I noticed that they both had music by this guy, Jerry Goldsmith. And I thought, wow, this is really, you can express all kinds of different music in film, and film's a medium that requires all the arts. Music, any art form you can kind of apply to film. There's the whole, plasticity of the arts, so you can even get in very esoteric with it. So because it was a mix of a lot of things I was interested in, that's probably why I took to film. But then, like I said, so I had records and all this stuff, Jaws, and my brother's wife bought me some music because she goes, "You like movies?" So I figured you like movie music. Well, it turned out she was right. So then in film school, I started doing music on the console organ, and then keyboards started coming in, which you could have at home. These were not multi-track originally. They were only multi-track when you run around the room and play the different instruments. So you go from the left to the right, and you'd squeeze a pencil or wedge a note down, and then you'd go over and play another instrument and stuff. And then I did music for my own movies, and then other people, when they did music, had me do music for their films. And I continued that when I moved to LA. So I've done music for my own movies, but I also scored films and TV. A lot of my music got used on Lost Tapes and Paranormal State. That was music I did for other shows, which they reused. I saw Jaws. That was the movie for me that scared me, engaged me, and made me want to make movies. I didn't know it at the time, but after that I started fooling around and making films. I did some James Bond stop motion animation films with little rock figures, which were quite elaborate, and which will eventually go up on my YouTube channel.